Good evening, coast to coast, to all my brothers and sisters in the business. This is Simeon Papalias with Brokers Playbook, and I am bringing a very interesting conversation and great insight from one of the industry's veterans, Mr. Hersh Litvack, and his amazing, talented, and gorgeous daughter, Miss Kelly Litvack. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us. We're so excited to be here.
I'm quite excited to have you. We've had a couple of conversations leading up to you guys coming on Brokers Playbook. And for those who don't know who you are, we speak to a lot of resale agents. We speak to a lot of residential resale agents. And they're all over the country, so they don't necessarily work pre-development in Toronto, where I want to bring something out of your 30-plus years of experience, your 15 years of experience, where people can maybe open their eyes and take your insight and put it into actual work in their business. Hersh, you specifically have helped shape my career. We've worked together for almost a decade. You have brought my organization, my partner, Jazz, and I, countless opportunities that we've leveraged. So I think it's fair. I think it's actually my duty to do the same to others. You are a fundamental strategic partner to not only to Brokers Playbook, but to my actual personal practice, bringing opportunity that we share with our clients. I want to speak to how others can do that. How can they leverage what we do here at Brokers Playbook to work and come into your world of pre-development? Maybe start with what you actually do.
Well, what we do is we are the marketing and sales company for major developers throughout the GTA and thereabouts. When they want to build a building, they come to us. We develop the strategies and the sales plans to get it into the market and sell it. And the biggest thing I think that I like to share with the viewers today is to understand that our job is to get it 70% plus in sales, because that's where they get the financing and that's when they can start to build it. So there's always a big push to get that 70%.
And this is the
sold.
developer. So the developer calls you for your experience in being able to market 300, 400, 500 units at a time.
Absolutely.
And obviously you count on the support of the realtor community to bring value to the said development.
That's who we market to and that's who we sell to.
And how do you engage? What does that process look like in the past, and maybe now that we have such a shift in the market with the clients or buyers' ability to actually move forward on deals because they're kind of throttled because of the financing component? Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about how you engage the agent community. What kind of experience do they have with your office? And lastly, how do we sell in that market?
So I'd like to start, Simeon, by saying that the way to engage somebody in the business who's never done it is to tell them exactly what happened to me. And I was brought an opportunity where a vision came, and simply to understand that my license that I had in real estate was able to produce multiple streams of income from other areas, not just resale housing. And the person that told me about it simply told me about a brand new building that was going to be released, nice and simple. And I said, I'll give it a try. And I think that's the biggest thing I can share with realtors, is to say, hey, I could use a second source of income. I'll just give it a try. And I simply sent out emails, Simeon, and people responded, and I sold them the product. And you know the funny thing? I didn't know what I was doing, but I didn't have to, because the people in the sales center helped me, helped the client, and they thought that was the best. So there's the first thing, is be open to making a change. But how we do it is we've collected thousands and thousands and thousands of agents' emails. when we are going to put out a brand new building, we send a notice out to them. We bring them into our offices. We have an immersive theater. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And we explain what the project is going to be. We give them some dates of the sales, and away we go, and we sell it.
So I suppose, because I want this specific podcast today to be really practical into actually being able to have implementable steps that you can take. So your organization, I know how it supports mine, but I want you to speak to what the agent journey looks like. So an email goes out. Let's say they come onto brokersplaybook.com. They take a look at the available launches and what's coming, etc. They like it. They see it. We can speak to any number of your previous developments. I've worked with you on Green Park, on Harhay. You have massive clients with some of the biggest developments in the GTA. Mm-hmm. So somebody likes that. They click on it. They have done for you campaigns that we work on together. You also have support systems inside your sales office. So the agent can present to their client, and if they like it, they can have further support. What does that look like, Kelly? What does that further support look like?
So the further support of that looks like having, we have a very big team, and a fundamental principle is that obviously, realtors are the absolute heart of our business, and we are there to help them. So a further support system they have, whether it's a call or email to us, we are always available.
Explain intricacies, like all the nuances of each project, for example.
Absolutely, right? And which makes it easier, of course, for the realtor, because how many developments are they going to have to learn and educate themselves on an entire building? It's a lot of work, right?
So, Kelly, touch on the marketing that we have ready for them. Like, they don't have to know anything. Everything is ready for them to send out and do.
Well, right. But after that, when they come into the office, if they need further support, we take their client
100%.
through the entire sales process.
But let's go further to that. So for your development specifically, because we at Brokers Playbook do create done-for-you marketing. Mm-hmm. Now, you also have another layer of that. So they can use all the assets that you create directly into their CRMs and deploy them to their clients.
Yes, and they're formatted for every type of media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, email. They're already done.
I have in the past organized events at your sales centers, which to me there's a massive logic to it. We're at the home of the site, which creates energy, and it creates urgency. It creates an environment of momentum.
Yeah.
But B, it also eliminates cost on my side to have to put on a wine and cheese event, to put on a hotel lobby and all these things. We're talking, again, not everybody's database is maybe as big as mine, but even if you're going to have 50 to 100 people on, you're talking about $5,000 to $10,000.
Absolutely.
That is significant. Hosting events at your space, is that something that agents can line up based on their assumptions of what they can get into the space? How does that all work?
It works as easy as calling us and making an appointment. And we are available for all of our realtors who work on our projects. We do events, just like you said, and you know how that works, which are actually incredible, because the truth is, and most specifically in this market, you want a busy event and you want what other people are buying, right? Very different than walking into a dead space.
Of course.
Right? What was the other question?
Well, it's surrounding the support of how to book the space and how these events work out.
Yeah. So it's as easy as calling us and making it happen.
I want to go above your service call to the industry, and I want to get into some how to make this happen. And what I mean by that, we kind of spoke to your business, but we haven't spoken to your 35 years. This isn't your first market slowdown due to financial components and
it's
interference.
the fourth one I've lived through.
It's the fourth.
This was not a shocker, Simeon.
No.
Okay. When it started, I'm chuckling through it like I did, and I just knew what was going to happen. So it's interesting. The longer you live, hopefully you pick up some pointers along the way and they help you in life. But I can pretty much lay out exactly what's going to happen. I don't need the news services. I don't need to hear about whatever government incentives may or may not come out. I pretty much can tell you what's going to happen over the next year and
Well,
2 years.
I would love to hear it. Go.
Pretty simple. This is what's going to happen. Rates are basically peaked. And if they do go up another quarter, it'll be a shock to everybody, but that will be the last one that we're going to see, certainly in 23 and in 24. You are going to see a break in those rates. And I'm not sure whether it's in the first 6 months you'll see it, but the pressure is absolutely out there on every Canadian right now who is living through this nightmare of these high interest rates, but they will start to fall. But here's the unbelievable thing that Simeon and all you realtors can pretty much take to the bank. Once those rates start to fall, the price of real estate is absolutely going to explode. People have been sitting on the sidelines for a long time.
We're talking about 18 months here.
Waiting and waiting and waiting. And all of a sudden, there's going to be a rush of real estate. And you know what? From 1 month to the next, you're going to see spikes that are really going to be considerable. I'll say it that way. And I've watched it happen before. I've lived through it before. And so what I've learned is take things that you've learned and seen and work with them. So today, I know I'm just going off this a bit, buy real estate. Convince your clients. And when I say convince, not like that, but show them immigration patterns that are coming into Canada. It is impossible. In 2022, we had 1,050,110 people come to Canada. Do you know how many houses were built, residences were completed?
I do. It was just under 200,000.
That's right, 197,000. Where are we putting
Do the math.
everybody? So if you believe that we're going to catch up with that anytime soon, we won't. So the combination of rates starting to go down, a pent-up desire to buy, that's what you're going to see.
Well, the pent-up desire is now extreme. And it's funny because people like to purposely misinterpret many things to fit the narrative of the next sensationalism in story. But the truth of the matter is that right now we are seeing multiple offers in the rental space. And there's only one reason for that. Everybody who was supposed to buy in the last 2 years has not been able to.
Absolutely.
And will not be able to for the next 6 months to a year.
That's right.
So every single day, we're creating a surge of tenants because life happens. You don't have a choice. You have to make a move. You have to move out of your parents' home. You have to go to school. You have to get closer to your work. Whatever the have-tos that life brings are, that's the housing market. And when your option of home ownership has been taken from you artificially by combating inflation, I understand why they're doing it. Nobody's out to punish anyone. This has to happen, but these circumstances, as well as the focus on immigration numbers being that high, are again artificially creating a massive tidal wave, the one that you're describing. So if the fundamentals are skewed to the investor's favor, because that's what it is. Right now, investors are celebrating. Even though their mortgage payments have gone up, their rental rates are 40% up in 18 months.
Yeah.
Right now, me as a investor, my portfolio is thriving.
That's right.
I hate the fact that I have to close on something next month at 7.69%. I hate it.
So do I.
I hate it, but I also was very happy. My appraisal just happened. I bought this said unit at the said development, happy to share it with anyone privately, at $489,000. My appraisal is $650. Will I nurse a $1,000 a month shortfall for the next 12 months to 14 months?
Sure.
But that will cost me $14K? Yes, please. I will do it 4 times more.
That's right.
This is simple math. $150,000 spread in profit. I have to carry for $14K. I wish I didn't have to supplement its income. But we also know that if I do hold on to it in 4 years from now, there's more than likely going to be an extra 100,000 in value on this very unit.
Without question. The prices were there before all of this started, without question.
So with that being said, you spoke to said, and you didn't like the word. I don't like the word either, convince. But let's use the appropriate word then, the word we use every day, which is, how do we provide value? How do we provide value to the client?
I think it's by knowledge. You've got to give them the knowledge.
So how
and
does
it's not your opinionated knowledge. It is factual things that are happening.
So give me a sales pitch that any one of our brothers and sisters can use on the phone today. They're going to call their top client. I'm going to call Kelly. I'm going to say, Kelly, it's Simeon.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into a very great opportunity. ... Fill in the blanks. Take it from there.
You know what? I would say to them, I ran into an unbelievable opportunity that I think fits you perfectly. You've mentioned to me that if I get something that is amazing, you wanted to see it. And you, okay, probably wouldn't mind thinking that if I could show you a way to make, whether it's 100,000 or 150,000 or whatever that number be in 4 years from now, but wouldn't take a lot of effort to do that, would you be interested in seeing that? That's the first thing I would do.
Okay, so I will continue, because most of our resale brethren have not sold pre-development. So I'm the client. Okay, Hersh, I like the sounds of that. What is the opportunity?
I'll give you an exact experience. I think that's easier because I just did it. So about a month ago or so, we released a brand new building in the GTA, and it was beautiful. I just loved it. And what I'm going to share is, through every real estate agent's career, they absolutely do get asked the question, if you ever see something that is unbelievable, call me.
Call me.
And that's what I did. I actually picked up the phone. So you have to ask yourself the question number one, will you pick up the phone and do something a little bit different? There's, to me, is the biggest question. But I picked up the phone and I called a few of my friends. And I simply said, you know, you've said to me, if I get something unbelievable, come in. And they did. And what ended up happening was I sold 3 pieces. What pressure? They sat across the desk from me. I showed it to them. I showed them what the opportunity was, and 3 of them bought it. So for those of you that are struggling right now, wondering, how do you sell real estate in these times? You can do it via pre-construction, another avenue. And certainly with the amount of projects that Simeon has, he makes it so easy to do it. But to end, they came in, bought 3. There was over $100,000 of commission.
It's incredible.
That came. If that will change your
and
life.
a good portion of that, and see, the thing about the resale agent, what they don't understand is they think they're getting paid in 4 years. A third of that commission is payable within 30 days.
That's right.
So it replaces your resale deal and then gives you the annuity of payments in the future on top
Absolutely.
of it. Kelly, how does one identify the great deal? What are they looking for from the developer, from the incentives? How does an agent know what a good deal is? What education component? Give us a little bit about that.
Well, so I would just start with an agent, and speaking more towards a resale agent, right? To pick a great deal is really to seize every opportunity. And if I was a resale agent, I would be open to looking at all of these emails that you probably delete or flag or see a launch or a seminar, whatever it is, because you don't do it. I've had the great experience of having thousands and thousands and thousands of agents come and listen to me present, and I present a plethora of opportunities and developments. What I really would say to that is that when you're a resale agent coming in, you're listening to this, I hear a lot of, yeah, you know, that's really not, I don't have that client in my database, right? And I always say, oh, but you do, because you don't know what your neighbor does with their money, and he doesn't know what you do with yours. So instead of playing out the negative and assuming this isn't going to work, I have seen it work hundreds and hundreds of times, and we have seen Agents' lives change in one day.
We've gotten letters, just the thank you letters are absolutely unbelievable.
And yes, they are, and it's incredible. And I just want to say too, it's funny when I have resale agents and going, how am I going to make this happen? And it's like, it's just that easy. It is just that easy. It's as easy as pushing a button. It is as easy as knowing somebody like Simeon. It is as easy as doing all of these things. And they're coming into this opportunity. And what they're not realizing is that I didn't just hand them a listing. I handed them the biggest listing of their entire lives. I said
there's dozens or hundreds.
well, I
of
said
units.
if this was just a listing appointment and I was a client, you would be so happy to be leaving my house right now. You just got my listing. You'd be running back to your office. You know, you'd be filling out the data sheet, all excited. You'd be loading it into Treb. You put on your marketing hat and everything else that goes along with it for a house. And that's amazing. That's incredible, right? We all go to school. We get our real estate license.
Yes.
We go, okay, now we sell the house. We sell the condo. We do all of those things. But you're not realizing that I just gave you 700 listings in this moment, and you don't have to do anything except push a button, and I guarantee it's going to
Get on
happen
the phone.
to you.
Get on the phone.
For you, yes, exactly. Get on the phone, make it happen, and then furthering that, you have all of my support. You don't even have to know it all. You bring the
Because your
client
entire
to me.
existence is to support the sale.
Correct.
So your job is only one: get it to the agents
Exactly.
and support the agents to succeed.
That's right. The agent is my client.
The agent is your client.
Yes.
I want people to take this really seriously, because I don't care if you're in Vancouver, if you're in Toronto, you can access inventory.
That's right.
You can access inventory from me directly. We can make introductions in other markets that we're not in to developers looking for your support. I know Alberta has at least 24 developers right now begging for the support of our community, of the agent community. We're not the end all and be all in Toronto. We happen to be in Canada's largest market, but Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and Montreal are developing. So to anyone in those markets who simply doesn't have access to work with Hersh, Kelly, or Simeon, we know the players in those markets, and we're happy to help you connect with people that can give you a listing of 700 units, because you have access to the entire building.
That's right.
So the agent can put all their marketing dollars, their time and effort. So if they were to make 20 calls a day for a week, that's a snowball activity. If they were just to do that and try it, and whatever somebody comes back with, oh, the 1-bedroom doesn't work for my family or for my investment needs, I need a 3-bedroom. All you have to do is ask for one.
Guess what? I have it.
The 3-bedroom doesn't work, I need a 1-bedroom.
Guess
So,
what?
I
I have it.
I want to say something, because I don't want the agents here thinking that they have to make phone calls to actually make this work.
That's true.
You actually don't have to make any phone calls at all. If you simply send out the marketing that's available, that we make available, that you make available, I'll tell you what you have to do. You have to be able to answer the phone. That's what you have to be able to do. You have to be able to respond to a message or an email or direct message that comes in. So most of the times, if you're thinking, right, that you have to go out there and beat the phone to death, I'm telling you for a fact, you do not have to do that. All you need to do, okay, is actually take a leap of faith, I think is the biggest thing, right?
And try getting this vertical
Send
on
out some
your side.
material. Yeah, someone's going to call you and want some information, right? If you can give them some information, they're probably going to take the next step, okay, come into a sales center with you and buy. And if you're from out of town, I will tell you that probably 70% of the projects that are sold, people never even go to see them. They buy them right through the airwaves.
Hersh, what's your outlook on winter 2023, spring 2024? As far as volume, activity, sentiment, do you think it's going to carry kind of in this slow wrestle where people are trying to find stability? What's your sentiment on it? What's your feelings on it?
I'm going to St. Martin for winter of 2023.
You're going to say?
St. Martin.
Well, you're one of the lucky ones.
Here's what I do. I go every year, so it's not new. But I think it's going to be exactly the same. I think it's going to be a tough year to ride out in the way of. When I say tough, you know what? I should quantify that.
Sure.
Tough in the way of media that moves people in certain ways and has them thinking in a certain path. But opportunity-wise, I will tell you that in your
We
lifetime,
haven't seen bigger.
yeah, you are never going to see the
The
same
next
opportunities.
6 months is the window. The window will be, by spring of next year, the window will be closed.
Absolutely.
That I truly believe in. And
Yeah.
if anybody wants us to quantify that, because we're not just saying nonsense for the sake of hearing our own voices, right now, this doom and gloom that the media creates, and I'm not sure why, I guess if it bleeds, it leads. Because it doesn't serve any purpose.
I think they've worked on it for 22 years, Simeon, telling everybody, okay, that everything is overpriced. And 22 years later, I guess they got a winning year out of it. So, that's an interesting way to look
But
at it.
they did get a winning year. That's the thing.
Yeah, right.
So the prices are still there because nobody can move. So even in this environment, what people don't understand is in the last 60 days, we've seen 50% rise in listings, pushing us into a buyer's market.
Absolutely.
A buyer's market with no buyers is no market at all. So again, like we can interpret what we see any way to suit any narrative. The truth of the matter is, me as a seller, if I have to sell right now, my home is worth, let's just say, for example purposes, $1 million. If I have to sell my $1 million home to buy another home, which I do, I don't qualify for the new home at $1 million, thus making me avoid. I can't sell. Or if I sell, I have to move out to a different market. Or. There is nothing other than an artificially created problem to address the inflation that was created during the pandemic. Nothing. So the next 6 months, where the actual price point can have an effect, meaning that if you search and claw and look, you will find sellers who are willing to take a smaller price.
Absolutely.
You are going to find developers giving incentives that they would never, ever have considered. Ever.
In my 33 years, I haven't seen. I have not seen anything like this.
So
Yeah.
with that being said, knowing that they have a need to get to the finish line and them, for lack of a better word, dropping their pants as much as they can on a new development that still has to be built, giving these incentives presents the biggest buying opportunity in Canadian real estate that I think we will see in our careers.
I agree with you.
Because I don't think there's going to be another pandemic, another run up on inflation of this nature. In the rest, I'm 15 years in. God bless if I have another 15 like you do. But I don't think we're going to see these circumstances again. What's the number one piece of advice you want to give realtors today?
The number one piece of advice I would like to give realtors is really this. There are 67,000 realtors. Isn't that unbelievable? 67,000 realtors on TREP. And the delta on that is about 300 coming in, 300 to 400 coming in every single month. How are you going to stand out and make a difference, most importantly, in your own life? My advice to you is that you should be seizing this sea of opportunities that is here and present today. And I'm going to give you a tip because I love you so much, because they're my clients. And when you see the marketing come out right now on developer incentives that are just absolutely unprecedented, I want you to look at things like commission they're offering. Let's say they're offering you a 6% commission. And then we're going to look at client incentives, and they're offering the developer is offering you a 6% commission plus an additional $35,000 bonus. We're seeing this all over the place,
Sure.
right?
Cashback bonuses.
A cashback bonus to the agent. So 6% and 35. That's unbelievable. What I would do is probably be a little creative. And maybe I would offer that cash back of $35,000 to the client. And you know what's going to happen from that? Not only does your marketing become different than everybody else's, that client is most likely going to call an uncle. And that uncle is most likely going to call a cousin. And what you're doing is not only creating from one sale to who knows how many, you're also creating lifetime clients. So in all of that being said, I think to stand out in that many agents right now, look at everything you have in front of you and ask for help. Ask people like Simeon, who has access to all of this inventory. Hersh and myself, we're here to help.
100%. In closing for you, Kelly, because I have the same question. You know what? Why don't we do the same question to you? Hersh, what is your one top tip to anybody listening to this show today to take action and create a vertical?
My top tip, I think I've talked about it before, but I'm just going to expand on it a little bit because I think it's the most important of anything. It's not the material I have. It's not the product I have, right? The person in the way of me living my dream life is me. It's you. And what I simply say is to understand that there are more income streams that you can have with your license. And it is so simple. The fear is in your mind, not in pushing a button and sending some information out. And I will tell you one thing. There's nothing like the feeling of being in this for a number of years and helping your clients make hundreds, not thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's nothing as rewarding as doing that. So get out of your way, call Simeon, and get going. It's that simple. It's what I did. It changed my life, my family's life, and thousands of agents along with it.
Mr. Litvack, thank you for sharing your wealth of insight and experience with us. Kelly, the same. For anybody watching, if you want to reach out directly to Hersh or Kelly, they are readily available. All socials are tagged below. You can always send a DM. There is not a more responsive team that I have ever met. Whether you reach them on their websites or their socials, they're available and they're always there to support my team. I have over 50 agents that work their products and their projects. They've never had a question unanswered, and they would never leave you unanswered. To access these opportunities, to get into all their opportunities and inventory, go to brokersplaybook.com, get into the brokers portal, and take a look at Hersh's projects. They are phenomenally incented, and there's a lot of ways for you to take it all in and find your own unique way of putting the value proposition out to your audience. Until next time, this is Simeon Papa Elias. We'll see you soon.